over 3 decades. Just he was always there for me. I mean, with the youth department, I used to have to go to him a lot of times because I needed some assistance or something. And Charlie was always there. He never forgot. He'd always stepped up to the plate.
Know about Charlie? What is it about him?
Well, the one thing I would say is that Charlie always put Hudson first. I worked in City Hall 14 years as mayor, and trust me, he was one of the most dedicated individuals. A lot of people didn't get along with his thoughts, but in the end, Charlie was doing nothing but the best for the city.
You didn't like this guy, or you liked it?
Oh my goodness.
We love it.
He was our neighbor, and
For
he
17
was
years.
so good to us when we first moved in. And he helped us so much. He
cut the
even
grass
cut
for
the
us.
grass
He
for
cut
us.
the grass.
And then we were the new kids on the block, so he introduced us to so many people, like people who
short.
fix our roof, people who cut our grass. So we're still cutting the grass for us. So he was a
17 years.
wonderful, wonderful neighbor. So when we saw that on Facebook, we said, oh no, we have to come pay our respect to Mr. Butterworth. He was really
Very,
good.
very excellent person in any way, and we related because he was at the University in New Hampshire. He went to university already.
Yeah.
And my wife worked at Cornell University, and I worked at NYU University.
Very good.
So, we had in common to talk about that.
Can you think of a word that would describe him?
Oh, he was very kind and a wonderful person. And we were very happy to be his
And
neighbors.
not only that, he was had the sense to see the ambience around, and he helped to the community. I think he helped over here and another place. Remember?
Yeah.
He helped. He knows what's happening. Yeah.
All right, good morning, everyone. If everybody could just bring it in a little closer. My name is Kamal Johnson. I'm the mayor of the city of Hudson. I'm honored to be here today for our second street naming in the city for Charlie Butterworth. The first was, the family of the Walthowers, who's here today. I'm glad that you guys could be here. Out of all the mayors here, I was too young to work with Charlie, but I do have like a great experience with him. When I was working at the school, I had got a raise and I was living here in the Hudson Terrace apartments, and that raise took me $200 over the level of income to live there. So they told me I had to find an apartment. And as I'm like looking everywhere around Hudson for apartments, I ended up at Union Street at 252 Union, where I ran into Charlie Butterworth, who was my landlord, and he was like, I was like, this is the one apartment that I actually like out of all the ones that I see. Like, I need whoever you have in mind, I need you to put me first. Like, please put me first. And he's like, you work at the school? And I'm like, yeah, I work at the school. He was like, all right, my daughters know something about teaching and stuff like that. But little did I know that when I was a kid, one of his daughters was in the school and knew me since third grade. So if I would have known that then, I would have used it to say to him. So I ended up living there for about 10 years, and we had a great relationship, and that's when I started realizing that he was more than just my landlord, and that he had this rich history with the community and with the city. So it's kind of a full circle moment. I wish we could say something to each other now, but I definitely want to congratulate his family and his friends and everybody for being here this morning. So thank you.
I want to thank my sister for setting this up. Take a breath. I stand here with pride for my dad, who did so much for the city. Not the city. So the streets, this is just so monumental for us because my dad was on the streets all the time. He was checking the roads in the winter. If there was a snowstorm, he was out checking the roads. A water main break, paving, all of it. So it's kind of very symbolic that we're able to name this part of Hudson after my dad. And anybody who knew my dad, Charlie Butterworth's Way is really the best name for this section of the street because he always had a vision. He was tough, strong, but very, very kind and sweet too. And there's a lot of sides of him, and I think everybody who knows him knows a different side, and this tribute just couldn't come for a better person. And I'm just so proud and honored to be standing here to be able to do this for our dad. And thanks for organizing this. Thanks to the Common Council for agreeing to it, and thanks to all the speakers for being here.
Thank you very much, Jill. For those that don't know me, my name is Rick Scalera. I did that mayor thing back in the Ice Ages for quite a time, and worked with Charlie for many years. And I could say majority of it was a pleasure. He was a tough guy to work for, but fair, honest, and he did the job. And I'm honored to be here. Good morning. We gather here to celebrate and honor a man who left an indelible mark in our community, Charlie Butterworth. Charlie was not only the best dressed, dedicated public servant and engineer, but he was a visionary who believed deeply in doing the things the right way, Charlie's way, and for all the right reasons. I'll talk a little bit about the train station later, but in my opinion, Charlie's greatest legacy is the work and commitment he did to modernize and strengthen our city's infrastructure. Thanks to his leadership and determination, the state mandated replacements of both the water treatment plant and the wastewater treatment plants were both completed within a few years' time. That remarkable achievement will serve generations for many years to come. And I don't think a lot of people can appreciate how much work it goes into replacing the entire wastewater treatment plant and a water treatment plant. But nobody could have done that but Charlie. He took these projects that were daunting and turned them into models of efficiency, safety, and sustainability. $24 million worth of new infrastructure, not sexy projects, but so very important to our community and to Charlie. But Charlie's way wasn't always about just roads, infrastructure, or buildings. It was a path that he paved for others. His way was built on hard work, teamwork, and deep care for this community. I know I served 14 years as mayor, and I saw every single day his commitment to our community. So today, as we make this long overdue dedication, we're not just naming a location, we're honoring a legacy. Every time we drive down Charlie's Way, may we be reminded he did things his way, with pride, purpose, and heart. And for Charlie, on behalf of all the residents in the city of Hudson, and I as mayor for all those years working with you, thank you very much. I have a few words that former Mayor Mike Yusko asked me to read. Also, former DPW Commissioner Jim Foltz, who worked many years under Charlie, or over Charlie. Nobody worked over Charlie, that's right. and former Executive Director Bernadine Torre of the Columbia Hudson Partnership that I've been asked to read. Mike Yusko. Having served the Hudson mayor for 12 years back then, in 1980 to 1991, it was a part-time position. I had to rely on my department heads to follow through with many of the daily challenges facing the city. Charlie, having been superintendent of public works for some years before I came on the scene, I found myself using his knowledge, his memory, his expertise whenever I felt it was needed. And you'll like some of this next thing I have to say. In today's world, Charlie did for the city of Hudson what I would classify him more as a city manager and a superintendent. Charlie always had the best interests of the city at heart. We worked together on many projects over those years. One that comes to mind was the proud revitalization of the train station, which we worked tirelessly on to see that this project to fruition. This project was completed shortly after I left office, but Charlie and others played a big part in making what it is today. Naming this section of South Front Street Charlie's Way is not only appropriately, but deserving. To Charlie's family and friends, dignitaries in attendance, enjoy your day. God bless you and enjoy Charlie's Way. Regards, Michael Yusko Jr., former mayor of the city of Hudson. Long before me. Now I gotta go to the phone, I'm sorry. These words. Testing. Okay, these words are from former DPW commissioner. He's down in South Carolina, enjoying himself on the beach, probably. It says, as DPW commissioner, I had the pleasure to work with Charlie Butterworth. He was just finishing up the new water treatment plant that he was so proud of. Is that working? Okay. And began plans on the new sewer treatment station. I can say that although Charlie had his way of doing things, he always put the city of Hudson first. Always looking at the next project, next upgrade, he could make something better in the city. And I also had the chance to work on Charlie's Baby, which was the Flag Day Parade, which he dedicated so much of his time to make that parade a success. It's only fitting that we call this area of the city of Hudson Charlie's Way. Jim Foltz. This is from former executive director of the Columbia Hudson Partnership, Bernardina Torrey. I'm deeply honored to share a few words at this dedication honoring Charlie Butterworth. Charlie's unwavering support and inspiration was the driving force behind many successful economic development projects in the city of Hudson. Charlie's passion for the Hudson waterfront, right over there, and commitment to excellence influenced my path, impacted countless of others, and this dedication reflects the gratitude for his belief and relentless pursuit in not accepting mediocrity. Thank you, Jill. Thank you, Tina, for sharing your dad's beacon of light and profound source of motivation. Fondly, Bernardina Torrey. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you, Rick. You see us older guys, we got to write our things down here, so the older mayors. But anyway. Paper. Over three decades, Charlie and I had a relationship. We shared much. Colleague, he was a mentor, he was a friend, and he was my landlord too. And I'll be honest with you, it was the first time in my life I was never late. I was always early with my rent. I never wanted to get Charlie in a bad way. So he was my landlord too, right up here at 119 Warren Street. With my tenure at the youth department, at times we had limited resources, so of course, who do you go to? You go see my pal Charlie. First question was, what do you want now? I said, Charlie, yeah, okay. I would just, whatever I needed. Charlie was usually very receptive and he'd take care of it. Then there were times when I thought, well, I'm going to play games with Charlie. I would just go in and say hi to Charlie, just to say hi. You're looking good today. Everything's going well. I like your shirt. I like your tie. And then he would always proceed I'd lather him up as much as I could. And he said, if you don't need anything, he says, I'm really busy. So in a nice way, he would kind of throw me out of the office. But if it wasn't for Charlie, the youth department would have struggled a lot. Charlie was always there for me. He just never said no, and he was on time with whatever we needed. It was equipment, it was manpower, whatever. But it was, thank God, because Charlie surely helped in my 32 years with the youth department. And then I never forgot his birthday and Christmas, of course. But I was always on his IOU list. He always went out of his way for me. He was a pleasure to know. He was a pleasure to be around. He was genuine and always gave of himself. He was a sort of a pioneer and a shaker and a mover. Charlie just not too much he didn't take on or was afraid to take on. Hudson was fortunate to have Charlie, and I think we were glad Charlie found Hudson. Hudson's a better place today because of Charlie. He was one of a kind, unfortunately gone too soon. So I want to thank you guys and thank you, the family, for getting this honor together. And I know Charlie, he's certainly deserving of it. And thank you again, and to his family, thank you, and friends.
I'm not going to say anything, but we do have one more speaker before we unveil the sign, and I think it's a very fitting, some fitting comments for right before we do this. But before she comes up, I would like to thank everybody for coming, taking your time to be here to support us, not just for us, but for my father.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Christine. I am the current president of the Hudson Flag Day Parade and Festival. I did not have the honor to meet Mr. Butterworth before his passing, but I feel like I know so much about him. I have been fortunate to hear some really great stories about Mr. Butterworth from previous Flag Day committee members, Jimmy Foltz and Mayor Scalera. He screamed passion and love for his community in so many ways, one of them being his pride and joy, the Hudson Flag Day Parade. In 2013, the parade was going to be abolished. And while I sat on the committee as a volunteer, I couldn't sit back and watch what Mr. Butterworth and his years of committees worked hard to grow. It was just going to go away. I also have the drive to make sure our community and youth enjoy this special day every year. As my committee and I try to do our best to make this event the best ever, I will never be able to fill the very large shoes Mr. Butterworth wore every year to make it his best parade. I would like to share a really short story. The other day I was on the phone with our fireworks vendor planning our 2026 event. And Bob could not make it, so he apologizes. Bob, who is the co-owner of our fireworks vendor, we were talking about how we could make the display for 2026, as we are also celebrating the 250th anniversary of our Constitution. I didn't want to make the time any longer. I didn't want to eliminate anything, and I also wanted it to be different from anyone else. As we kept going back and forth, and I wasn't negotiating very well, he said, "I have a story for you." And not knowing this was happening today, he started off with Mr. Butterworth. Yes, no first names, which shows the respect he had for Mr. Butterworth. Mr. Butterworth had come to me years ago and wanted the best finale they could ever do. Their current vendor at the time would not do it. So of course, Bob wanted the challenge and said, "Sure, what do you want and how big?" Mr. Butterworth gave him his wants and Bob made it happen. 27 years later, we have the same great vendor. We still have the only finale like we do in the entire New York State. And we will always be the only event to have it. We owe this tradition to Mr. Butterworth to this day, and I'm proud to be part of it yearly. This is just one of the many wow moments Mr. Butterworth has done for Flag Day in our city. The Ferry Street dedication couldn't be a more perfect one. The bridge that leads to the waterfront where he planted many memories for lots of kids and families. I want to thank Tina and your family for allowing me to speak today. I will do my very best to keep your dad's legacy alive through Hudson Flag Day. He will always be remembered. Thank you.
Introducing Charlie Butterworth's Way.